Our next talk will be by Larson.
Hi, thank you so much, Sally. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Lauren Larson. I'm a PhD student at UT Austin, and I am head of government relations for the US LHC Users Association. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit today about the US Particle Physics Content Group, what we do, and maybe how you can contribute. So, USPP content comes from the most recent P5 report. Afterwards, the US Particle Physics Group took on the responsibility of coordinating and managing the shared resources that were derived from the P5 guidance. In collaboration with DOE, the US LHC User Association, the SLAC Users Organization, the Fermilab Users Association, and APS DPF, we maintain and update these resources as we move forward. This ensures consistency of messaging across the community, given priorities and timeline shifts, especially in this evolving political environment. We want to make sure we keep our content up to date. And we have two key outputs, which is the website, the USPP content website, and our outreach and advocacy materials that align with the P5 priorities. So let me first tell you a little bit about our website. For those who don't know, it's usparticlephysics.org. We host the P5 report digitally so that everyone can have a copy of it at all times. We track particle physics involvement across the United States, keeping up to date with what universities are involved. We create and host outreach brochures for physicists who want to talk to non-physicists and lawmakers about their work. And we include resources for physicists like the proceedings of the snowmass, as well as anything else that was created from the P5 process. So to tell you a little bit more about the brochures that we make, these were first designed immediately following the 2023 P5 report. They highlight some of the key areas that the P5 report emphasized, our contributions to different fields, and they're intended for a general audience to be able to understand. These brochures are often used in advocacy. So when we do our annual HEP DC trip to talk to lawmakers about why our field is so important, oftentimes these brochures we brought along to aid our advocates. They translate the priorities and recommendations of the P5 report into concise, audience-appropriate advocacy materials, but they continue to evolve. So we need to make sure that we keep these updated and align with our current programmatic priorities and budget realities. So we had this timeline, for example, that showed all the different projects that were in the P5 report and how they were going to proceed over the next 10 years. And obviously, there have been some updates to this, like the CMBS4. We've had to change their position on the timeline and these kinds of things. Another document that we produce, we call Progress and Priorities. So each year, we produce this report that summarizes the progress we've made over the previous year and the priorities for the year ahead. This report is the primary focus of the group's work from December through January, and it aims to faithfully convey the priorities established in the P5 report while incorporating developments into the field, evolving timelines, and constraints. So the current status of the USPP content group is actively developing and updating the progress and priorities document for this year. We're planning updates that align with the P5 outreach brochures. The progress of this depends on active participation from our contributors that are willing to engage in doing things like drafting and reviewing our materials. We're also doing updates for the website to make it easy to use and easier to find the material you want and more clear on what's organized where. So if you're seeing all this and wondering how you can contribute, you can join our content group, take ownership of maintaining and updating these P5 aligned outreach brochures, committing to revising text and figures and contributing to the messaging. This work would involve collaborating actively since things change quite a lot year to year. We want to make sure we keep everything up to date, and we can only do this if we have people who are willing to contribute. And I want to highlight that this role is actually really well suited for early career researchers, especially if you have artistically inclined graduate students who can spend some time and work with a group of people who represent all of HEP and learn new skills about communication and how to how to work with people that have very different parts of the field than maybe they would interact with normally. But also we have a role for senior PIs doing things like the progress and priorities report. This is something that requires input from across our field to make sure that we fairly represent everyone. So thank you so much for your time, and I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
Are there any questions? I'm not seeing any in the live document. Anything in the chat or any raised hands? No. Looks like it's well received. Oh, Heidi has a question. Heidi, are you able to just unmute yourself? Heidi, go ahead.
At this point, all I can do is croak, so I'm gonna have to send you a type it.
Okay. Looks like Jay has a comment. Sorry, there's always a delay for getting people unmuted. Can APS help with unmuting Jay?
I am trying. Okay, there you go.
I think I was able to. Okay. Yeah, I just want to add, how good a document these. I mean, these flyers are very, very important when we are interacting with these congressional members and government agencies in the executive branch and stuff. Whenever we have a visit to DC for high energy physics advocacy, and so these they're automatic generation of the particular the districts as well, but the funding is going and stuff like that. So these Lauren and company are doing a fantastic job in terms of making sure that this message is properly transmitted, and every time we interact with these people, they're very impressed with all the document and the quality of the material that we provide them. So kudos to Lauren and company.
Thank you so much.
So Heidi typed her question. It says, given the great interest in AI/ML, is it possible to have a document that explains the special regimes where high energy physics contributes to AI, both historical and the specialized regimes where we do interesting work now?
So we do have an AI document that talks about where we've been and how we use it specifically within our field. This document can, of course, always be improved. And with this new Genesis mission and the increased emphasis on AI, we're looking at this year trying very hard to make this document robust and meet the desires of the current administration.
Thanks very much. I don't see any further questions coming in, so we'll end this talk and we'll